Tairam. On the 20th of October 1962, India woke up to a shocking news. The news of China's invasion and attack along two fronts. Yes, India's northern neighbor China had attacked India along the northeastern front, which comes to the east of Bhutan, and along the northern front, which comes to the west of Nepal. Now, there had been some kinds of tension building between India and China, and in retrospect, many people have given many reasons why China attacked. We never know if any of this is true. Some of them say that Mao Zedong wanted to build his own personality and popularity in China, and people were getting disinterested in him, and therefore he used this as an opportunity to build patriotism and unity among them. That apart, China has always claimed Tibet to be part of it. Tibet says it's separate. And in 1959, there was a Tibetan uprising which China had put down. At that time, the Dalai Lama was given refuge in India, and he continues to be in India at Dharmashala. China didn't like this. India had got independence in 1947, and after that, slowly it had started building its army, its borders, and the borders with China, which had only Chinese soldiers, not much of Indian presence, started getting a few Indian outposts, again, which China didn't like. But as I said, all these reasons are in retrospect, and different commentators have said China never said why it attacked actually. So we don't know the actual reason, but China attacked. And it was a surprise attack, and because of the surprise element and the first mover advantage, naturally there were more casualties on the Indian side. More soldiers lost their lives, more number of soldiers went missing, more number of soldiers were captured as prisoners of war. This was an entirely land battle. Aircraft and the naval force didn't get involved. But when this happened, it took the whole country by shock. Now, regular viewers of this channel will be wondering, why are you telling all of this in a channel dedicated to Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba? Because there's a connection. There's a deep connection. There's an intimate connection. And these kind of high profile events, I am sharing because not that Swami wants. God, knows everything, does everything, but acts as if he knows and does nothing. Man knows nothing, does nothing, but acts as if he knows and does everything. God doesn't need it. Swami doesn't need it. I'm doing it because of my joy, because I just feel somehow the glory of God is hidden because man thinks he knows everything. Why to speak about men? Lord Brahma himself did not realize the grandeur, glory and supremacy of Lord Krishna, and that's why he hid the Gopalas, that is the cowherd boys, and the cows, right? Thinking he will put Krishna in soup. But what did Lord Krishna do? He did a great Leela, wherein hundreds and hundreds of cows were created, and Krishna took the form of all the cowherd boys, taught Lord Brahma a lesson. If Brahma can get deluded, what about us? These high profile events somehow open our eyes to the grandeur and glory of God and teach us that there is something beyond this human body, beyond this mind, beyond our little own body attachments and our egos that is governing this entire universe. It's a very uplifting and positive and energizing thought. That is the reason I thought I will share this amazing connection that Swami has with this 1962 invasion of China. It is amazing, it is thrilling, it will bring goosebumps to you as it brought to me. The months of October and November were the busiest and most celebratory at Prashantinilayam in Puttaparthi when Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba was there, because there would be the Dussera celebrations and the birthday celebrations. Now, the Dussera celebrations had just concluded on the 9th of December with Vijay Dashmi in 1962, and as I said, on the 20th of October, that is the Avatarhood Declaration Day, the day when Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba announced that he is no longer Satyam, belonging to the Ratnakaram family or the Bharadwaja Gotra. I am not restricted to that. I belong to the world. My devotees are calling me. He announced his mission. That is the Avatarhood Declaration Day. On that grand day was this declaration of war as well. And it affected the morale of the whole country. In fact, questions were asked from Swami as to whether they should prepare for the birthday celebrations. You see, when grand events and festivals happen in Swami's presence, it is a two-way preparation. The devotees prepare because they love their Swami so much. But Swami also prepares because he loves his devotees so much. So, Swami prepares and plans for the food, for the accommodation, for them to stay comfortable, to ensure that everybody is peaceful, calm, and happy. So, when all these preparations were going on, they asked Swami, should we prepare for so many people? Because I don't think there will be so many people coming, because terrible times are going on. We don't know how this war will go. The Chinese are advancing rapidly. Day by day, the situation seems to be getting worse. And how is that? I will not go into those details here because it has been elaborately documented across multiple videos in multiple blogs. You can read it for your own interest, but you can see that with each passing day, the Chinese troops incursion kept increasing and India kept going down. So, Swami, should we prepare for the birthday celebrations? I mean, should we ask for those many bags of rice? Should we prepare because devotees may not come? Also, Swami, it may not be right that in such a circumstance, we are having such celebrations. At that time, Swami said something which he reiterated later as well in a public discourse. Unfortunately, we don't have the audio. We just have to make do with the text that has been documented. What did Swami say? Swami said, "Be brave and confident. My birthday festival will not be marred by any dispiriting news. On the contrary, it will be made happier for you by positive and cheerful news. Of this, I am sure." Imagine, people were so dispirited that Swami had to assure them. Apart from making the declaration, he had to tell that I am sure, you don't worry, I am sure. So when Swami gave that much reassurance and that much confidence and courage, preparations went on both from the devotees side and from Swami's side for the devotees. But then, as I said, things kept going from bad to worse and worse to even more worse. In fact, on 18th of November, it was the darkest day, the bleakest day. The way the Indian forces got beaten and the way the Chinese forces invaded, it led to a complete demoralization of the country, and naturally that news percolated everywhere, including Puttaparthi. And November 18th is just a few days before the birthday celebrations. In fact, November 18th is when the birthday celebrations begin. November 18th is the Rathotsavam. November 19th now is the Ladies' Day. Then 20th, 21st, 22nd, the Convocation. The 23rd is the birthday. So everyone was wondering, what, Swami, you have said? And Swami was peaceful and calm. In fact, on the 19th of November, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, actually wrote a letter to John F. Kennedy, the American president, desperately begging for help. I will read out the first part of the letter just to let you know the official status of the war at that point in time. Dear Mr. President, within a few hours of dispatching my earlier message today, the situation in the Northeast Frontier Agency Command has deteriorated still further. Bomdila has fallen and the retreating forces from Sela have been trapped between the Sala Ridge and Bomdila. A serious threat has developed to our Digboy oil fields in Assam. With the advance of the Chinese in massive strength, the entire Brahmaputra valley is seriously threatened, and unless something is done immediately to stem the tide, the whole of Assam, Tripura, Manipur and Nagaland will also pass into Chinese hands. The Chinese have poised massive forces in the Chumbi Valley between Sikkim and Bhutan, and another invasion from that direction appears imminent. Our areas further north on the border with Tibet in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh are also threatened. In Ladakh, as I have said in my earlier communication, Chushul is under heavy attack and shelling of the airfield at Chushul has already commenced. We have also noticed increasing air activity by the Chinese Air Force in Tibet. So that was the situation, and it looked very, very bad. It felt like more than half of India would be lost to the Chinese, and that is why this desperate call to help. But John F. Kennedy was busy in his own problems. He was having the Cuban Missile Crisis. Oh, that is another big crisis. Dear brothers and sisters, our Swami would often give the example of the 5 Pandava brothers in multiple discourses and private conversations. He would say that Bhima is the strongest among them all. And Arjuna has all the weapons that he has acquired from all the different deities. Nakula and Sahadeva are the most skillful in wielding the sword. And yet, all four of them bow down to Dharmaraja Yudhishthira, who is not as accomplished, as skillful, or as powerful, but because he is a strict adherent to Dharma. Dharma is the most powerful, and so Swami would say that India might not be the most skillful, most powerful, most talented, or most weapon holding country. Yet, it is the Vishwaguru, it is the Lord, it is the God, it is the eldest among all because it follows Dharma. Swami would define Bharat as the place where Dharma is followed, not as a geographical entity alone. If there is no Dharma, it is not Bharat. And so, Swami, when all this was happening, when the whole country was despirited, Swami is saying, no, good news is going to come. India cannot get beaten. Bharat will not get beaten down because Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha dharma eva hatohanti. Meaning, Dharma protects those who protect Dharma, and Dharma destroys those who destroy Dharma. Though it might seem in the between that Dharma is losing, Dharma will never lose. Ultimately, Dharma will win. Satyameva jayate. Truth alone will triumph. Swami said this in the darkest, bleakest moments when nobody had any hope. And then it happened. Totally unexplained. The Chinese forces on the 20th of November 1962 simply unilaterally decided. It's called a unilateral ceasefire because it was not as if they discussed with India that, hey, let us stop the war, let us cease hostilities. No. They simply decided that enough is enough, we will stop it, and they withdrew. They withdrew 20 kilometers away from all the borders, and despite having the upper hand, despite having conquered large tracts of Indian territory, China agreed to respect the same borders that were functional before this aggression happened. Can you believe that? They had the upper hand. They had everything going in their favor. And India apparently had nothing going in its favor. From a worldly sense, of course, because India, Bharat always has Dharma going in its favor. And here was Swami reiterating, don't worry, there is a universal force more powerful than all your bombs in the universe. And that force favors Dharma, because Dharma is that force. And Dharma will not allow India to fall. This is what Swami stressed even in his public discourse. And yet, while everyone heard it, nobody listened, possibly because the situation seemed so hopeless. But then it happened. It happened. All the troops just withdrew. Unilateral ceasefire. Of course, in retrospect now again, just as many reasons have been given as to why China attacked, there are so many videos, so many reasons as to why China withdrew. But my question is, it's okay, but why so suddenly? Why so suddenly just before the birthday of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba? You know, again in the Bhagavatam, let me share one more story. When Lord Krishna lifted up the Govardhana Giri, it felt like when Indra is so powerful, he's raining down so much water, everything is drowning, nothing can save them. Lord Krishna comes and picks up a mountain on his little finger. And at that time, what do all the other people, the cowherds, the cowardesses do? They pick up their sticks with which they used to take the cows and other cattle for grazing, right? They take that stick and prop it up to help Krishna to hold the mountain. Does the Lord require those sticks as props to hold up the mountain? But for our satisfaction, we do it and we say, you know what? At that time, yes, Lord Krishna held the mountain, of course, but we helped so much. We all put our sticks and held it up. So too, I feel all the reasons in the world can be given. Some say that the letter that Jawaharlal Nehru wrote, in fact, that letter is over here. It has been declassified only recently. It was highly classified, and I doubt whether anybody would have got to know that he has sent a letter to United States of America. Forget the fact that China knowing and within hours of that saying, hey, you sent a letter, come, let's all run back. Do you think China will do that? Anyway, This is the story that happened, and the birthday celebrations were held with all grandeur, all magnificence, all beauty. Swami was adored, worshipped by his devotees, and the devotees had the most beautiful time. In fact, in his birthday discourse, Swami referred to this. Swami said that as long as you are on the path of Dharma, nothing can touch you. Things may look like they're all going wrong and the bad people are winning, the good people are losing. We just need to focus on being true to Dharma, upholding righteousness. Swami says, in a room that is cluttered with so many obstacles, Dharma is a lamp. You may say that I am following Dharma, yet the world is not changing. No, 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 no. With you following Dharma, the world will not change, but your world will change. Just like the lamp in your hand in a cluttered room. It may not stop others from banging into the obstacles, but it will help you navigate without banging into the obstacles. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, dharma eva hato hanti. Please allow me to quote from Bhagawan's discourse on the 24th of November 1962. Swami says, "You will have known by now that the Chinese, on their own accord, prompted by the mysterious working of a higher power, withdrew from the advance lines they held on the night of the 22nd. And as I said, my birthday was celebrated in an atmosphere of joy. Some unseen force caught them by the neck and hurled them back. People are impelled forward in aggressive warfare by the demonic power of greed and lust, but they are compelled to retrace their steps by God, by the divine power." That was the saga of the 1962 Indo China War, as it is called, and how God, in the form of Dharma, keeps protecting. And that, dear brothers and sisters, for me is the most important takeaway. My objective in making this video was not to paint someone good, paint someone bad, and if it has inadvertently happened, I seek forgiveness. That is not my intention. My intention is to focus on the power of being good and doing good. And I hope that we all take inspiration from this. I pray to Swami that we get this inspiration to be good and do good always. To be soldiers for Dharma. When we are soldiers for Dharma, we are assured of victory. Let me conclude with another quote from Bhagawan. This is from the discourse on the 21st of November 1982. When India had not yet been notified of this unilateral ceasefire, Swami was already sharing this message, and Swami said, "It is only those who fail to follow my instructions and who deviate from the path of truth and dharma that have been laid down, that fail to get what I am holding out before them. Follow my instructions and become soldiers in my army. I will lead you on to victory." When someone asks you in great earnestness, "Where is the Lord to be found?" do not hesitate or try to dodge the question. Give them the answer straight that rises in your heart and your tongue. Direct them to me. I am here to bless and guide everyone. Swami is assuring us. So I will not hesitate. And dear brothers and sisters, when you are convinced, why do you hesitate? If anybody asks, "Have you seen God?" say, "Yes, I have seen God." And anybody asks, "What is his name?" say, "The name is Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba." Dear Swami, may we always remember your divinity despite the delusions and the illusions. And may the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.